Good morning, chickens. Good morning. Well, I need to pick a beet for a recipe I'm making. So just brought you out with me. I really want to harvest this garlic soon. It's just been so rainy. I'm hoping it'll dry out soon. This is the little rabbit fence Dave built because there was one rabbit brave enough jumping up into the box. Look at the dill. It's gorgeous. This is like my favorite photo right now. The dill and the zinnia. The peas behind it. Alright, let's see what we got here. Kind of tricky for me to tell. Oh, here we go. I think I'm going to take this. It's not huge, but it's perfect. It will do just fine. Look how gorgeous. I've never actually grown a beet before. I've only been able, or the root actually, the beetroot. I've been able to grow very successfully beet greens. I'm gonna take some dill. Let's grab some dill. That could be lovely. All right. That'll be good. Good morning, garden. Those potatoes got pushed down from all the rain. We had a crazy storm. Crazy storm. Can you see how lush it is? Like you can't even really see past the tomatoes. Let me show you the potatoes. I think that potatoes in grow bags wins. I've done them in 3 places. Obviously, I need to see the yield because I can't say anything from the greens, but they've stayed healthy. Whereas my other 2 patches, the patch in the fence in the garden, and then my patch over there in the potager garden, get a little sick. All right, we'll go inside. I was scrolling through Farmer and Chef, and I saw this. It is beetroot, radish, and potato pie. And it has, the radish is actually pickled radish. And I thought, all right, I have to figure out how to make this gluten-free. And I may play with the ingredients a little bit. I'm just using what I have. So I cooked some potatoes up yesterday, and those were in the fridge. And then I have my pickled beet, carrot, radish mixture. I've got some fennel. I've got basil back there. I have some Asian spinach. I have mushrooms. I've got a dairy-free cream cheese, mustard, chili peppers, a raw goat cheddar, and the beet that we just picked. So I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna use my gluten-free, dairy-free pie crust. That's in another video. And I'm just gonna make a little hand pie, so little rectangles. And then I'm gonna fill them. And the reason that I used cooked potatoes as opposed to the recipe on Farmer and Chef using raw potatoes is that these don't cook for as long as a full pie would. So I am gonna slice the beet really finely, make it like really thin so it will cook, but I just didn't trust that the potatoes would cook. And then I'm gonna chop up some of this and use it to kind of sprinkle on. So we'll see what we come up with here. It's like taking an inspiration. This is the way I cook. I see something, it looks so good, and then I think, all right, well, what do I have and how can I convert this to work for me? So let's see what we can do. I already had some dough in the freezer that I took out yesterday in anticipation of making this. My hope is that it's not too dry, because it seems a little dry, and that I can get a little bit of use out of this one. I think if I just work it a little bit and let it warm up, I'll be able to kind of get these spots back together that want to pull apart. So I'm just kind of gently smushing this. Let's see. I'm just gonna go across the top and then maybe about this size, and then just wherever I can get a nice clean edge. So that isn't perfect, but that will be one. Let me move this away so you can see. This will be one pie, one hand pie right there. And then I probably can get one more rectangle. Let's see. Maybe do, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll leave that. That's a little big. Let's see. Something like this. And then all this can get rolled out one more time. So I've got 3 rectangles and I still have another thing of dough. I'd like this to be dinner tonight for Dave and I. I think we have 1 kid with us tonight, as opposed to a multitude. And he might not like this, so I will make something else for him. So, all right, these are gonna go to a baking sheet and I'll keep rolling out the dough. Okay, so I have enough dough here to make 3 hand pies. I just try to match them up by size. They're never perfect, and that's part of their charm. To me, if you're gonna try to be perfect, I wouldn't be able to bake. So I just play it by ear. Like, let's just wing it, see what happens. When you go to press the edges together, the sides together, hello. When you go to press the sides together, it'll all work. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up. I baked these potatoes in the oven and then I put them in the fridge. And usually when you do that, you're able to just pretty easily pull the skin right off. I don't really need all the skin to be off. I just don't want it like puckering. So I'm gonna get as much as I can of this off. It's coming off really easily here. Now let's see, I'm thinking I might get 1 small potato per hand pie, maybe a little less on these bigger ones. So once I get this skin off here, all right, let's see how beautifully this will cut. Because it's cold, see, this is the trick. Gotta have a cold potato. And then we're just gonna layer this on towards the center, because you remember you want to seal the edges. So you don't want this too crazy. And we've got other things coming. So there's my potato layer. Then I don't even think I need to actually use the raw beet, but I am going to use it because I want to know how it cooks. So this is sort of a little experiment. This does have the skin on, but I don't anticipate that it's going to be very bitter because it's this gorgeous homegrown tiny tender beet. So I'm just going to do, I think I'm going to just do 2 slices of that because we are using this pickled beet. Let me get a fork. I'm going to try to get mostly radishes here. All right, so I'm going to just finely chop this because I'm thinking of this radish part as, I don't know, more like a topping. Like if you were to stick a little salsa in there. And then the recipe from Farmer and Chef calls for some grated cheese with mustard or horseradish. And that sounds delicious. So I don't have horseradish and I only have like a Dijon mustard. Let's put some dill in too. All right, so here we go. We've got the potato, the beet. I'm gonna put the pickled radish on. I'm gonna put some dill on. My radish wants to fall out of my hand pie. Look how beautiful that looks already. Just that. Wow. Yeah, I'm a little excited for this. This is the kind of food I like to eat. Okay, so then I'm going to grate up some goat cheddar on top. Let's see. All right. So a little bit of cheese, like that. And then let me get my mustard. I wish I had a really nice mustard for this, but I don't. I have mustard all over me now. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna do like four little drops of mustard because I really don't know what that's gonna be like. Goodness, these look good. Okay, so these first two are gonna be true to the ingredients in the recipe. This last one, I did potato, fennel, mushroom, and pickled radish because I wanted to try a little something different. And I'm actually gonna put maybe a little chili sauce on that one. Maybe, just maybe. All right, well, let me finish these up and we'll get some, I forgot the dill on this one. We'll get some tops on. Beautiful. Now for the top, I'm just going to hope that that is big enough. It may not be. I might have stuffed them a little too full. That's all right, we'll clean it up. So then I'm just taking the fork and squishing it together to make those cute little hand pie edges. There's definitely gonna be some cheese bubbling out of this thing. And we're just gonna call that an actual win because who wouldn't want some raw goat cheddar bubbling out of their hand pie? All right, that's rough, but that's basically what you're doing. Sprinkle these with a little salt on the outside and just a bit of pepper. Then you know these are a savory hand pie when you look at them, and it just is beautiful. There you go. These are going in the oven. We'll see. Gosh, wouldn't it be nice if I actually set a timer? So I think this is gonna be 400 degrees for 15-ish minutes, and then I'm gonna check. I don't know. I don't even know how long they've been in because I ran upstairs to put makeup on and I didn't set a timer, which is typical of my cooking. Okay, hand pies are in the oven. My eye feels a little funny. Hand pies are in the oven, 400 degrees, 15, 18, 20 minutes. We're gonna find out. So I thought I'd just sit here in this hot, beautiful sunroom in front of all my baby plants and talk a little bit about my experience with cooking. I don't think I'm an incredibly great cook. Where I shine is really simple, fresh, methods, not necessarily recipes. So I can look at a recipe and I'll say, okay, I'll use that as a guide. If I try to follow the recipe, it usually fails. And maybe it fails because I'm not good at measuring. I don't pay attention. I'm just kind of all over the place. That's why baking is a little tough for me, because you do kind of need to pay attention and follow. But what I like is, like, if I make this dough, I know what it should feel like. After I make it a few times, I know what it should feel like, right? And for me, that's more how I cook. So when I saw last year during like Corona quarantines, I saw a lot of people and they were making like hand pies with like fruity things and everything. And I was like, man, I wish I could make something like that for the kids. That would be so fun. But, how am I going to do that? And that's how I discovered the gluten-free, dairy-free recipe that I use for all my crusts now. So it's like a method. I see somebody do something, I get inspiration. I'm like, I can feel that. Like I can taste that. I can smell that. I'm gonna try to recreate that, but I'm gonna do it in a way that uses what I have, the things we like, and that allows for gluten sensitivity, that allows for dairy sensitivity. I eat only raw goat cheddar. If I can't find that, then I really can't, or goat cheese. If I can't find it raw, I can't eat it. And so finding raw goat cheddar has been, pretty life-changing as far as cheese goes in recipes. But if I didn't have it, I would use something, or make like a cashew cream, or use nutritional yeast, something like that. So you don't have to avoid a recipe just because you have an allergy or a sensitivity. You just have to be creative and make it your own. So that's why I like to cook with methods. Like, what's a method? So I've been teaching Chloe to cook methods so that she doesn't feel bound to needing a recipe. So when she gets a craving for curry, she knows the method. When she gets a craving for this like noodle soup that she loves, this miso soup, she has a method and she kind of uses what she has. And that's what I want to kind of send her off with. Now, a lot of people follow recipes and a lot of people are good at following recipes. I never was. They always bombed. Nothing came out right. And I just decided I'm not gonna do that. So when I see something interesting or I get an idea, like I made a lemon zucchini bread the other day. So I read like 5 or 6 recipes. And then I was like, all right, well, I have this, or this seems good, or I get an idea of how much liquid it should have in it. Everyone's using 2 eggs, that kind of thing. Let me play with this. And then I just come up with something that works. I rarely make the same thing twice, mostly because I don't write things down. But because it's a method rather than a recipe. And so there are certainly things that you do want to follow. You do want to, stay pretty close to when you are baking, but when you're cooking, you really have the freedom to explore, use what you have. Okay, I'm gonna go check on the hand pies. All right, so these hand pies, they need to cool before you can actually pick them up and put them in your hand. Otherwise they just crumble. I overcooked them, so definitely don't do that. You can see that. But the inside was great, the filling was great. What I would say is go heavy on the cheese and the mustard, because that is yummy. Go heavy on the pickled radish, because you're gonna need that to kind of make it not so dry. And then I'd probably serve some sort of radish on the side, or tomato chutney, or like an onion chutney, something to give it a little bit of moisture, basically, something to kind of just like elevate it, because it can be a little bit dry. Other than that, really yummy. The potato beet pickled radish combination is incredible. So thank you, farmer and chef, for the inspiration. Thanks for playing in the kitchen with me. We'll do it again soon. Appreciate you.